Welcome back to The Charismatic Voice. Today, we're returning to a crowd favorite, and we're going to be listening to some more Nightwish. Now, you guys had so many awesome recommendations. I needed some help picking which to do. So big thank you to the patrons who helped me choose Shoemaker. This will be my first time hearing the song. I understand that it was released on the album this year. And it's not about somebody who makes shoes. It's about a really famous scientist, Eugene Shoemaker, who is so awesome, his ashes are spread on the moon. Like, that's cool. Whoa. That gives you an idea of how respected he is among the science community. He's considered one of the founders of planetary science. And I think it's so cool that Nightwish decided to write a song in honor of him. I'm excited to hear what this sounds like. Let's get to it. Okay, before we get into this really beautiful, soft, harmonized part, it sounds like, I think I counted 3 voices that were in there. Floor's voice is doing amazingly well with what's happening here. She's got a lot of agility. I haven't heard her sing with that much agility in other songs. I've heard her sing much more long lyric lines. Every now and then something that's got a lot more aggression to it, but this is light and fast singing, which also jumps up periodically. And it's not always in a normal rhythmic pattern. So I was trying to figure out what that time signature is. It is not a normal time signature. If you're just like counting that beat and when does that beat come back around, like when would you find 1 again? It's a bit different. So I'm going to go back to the beginning again and see if we can find that. There was so much initially, just right away. It was really quite difficult to try and catch everything that was going on. And that's cool. I like having music that is that deep. And Nightwish never fails to deliver really deep, complex music, and I really enjoy that. Definitely appreciated the choir in the background, and it almost sounded like you had counterpoint between a couple of the instruments, so that was fantastic and fun to listen to. Let's go back here, and we'll see if we can find out what that time signature is. Okay, I think I've got it. So usually you're used to hearing sort of like 4 sets of 4s. That's how a lot of pop music and just mainstream music in general is built off of. This has 1, 2, 3 full sets of 4, and the second is just 2 beats. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12, 2, so you get like 14, 4. They might have divided that to be 7, 4, and 7, 4. But it feels like they also might have divided that as 3 measures of 4, 4 and 1 measure of 2, 4. So if you were to count this out, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2. Repeat 1, 2, 3, 4. So go back to the beginning here with me one more time. See if you can count along with that, and then we'll keep going in the song. That's it. Okay, pausing, and I promise to go on after this. I like the lyrics so much. Like it sounds like they're talking about Shoemaker's resting place on the moon and saying, "We want to come with you." This feeling of like, yeah, I'd love it when eventually I die. I want my ashes on the moon. That's cool. That's amazing. But also so much respect. Wow. Okay. I like these lyrics a lot. Let's catch up.
Here I came to be. You're reaching to the far on the stellar sea, but in little stars. We all wait the tonight beauty, which is worth the hunting. We've come to join you. Hope revive for a lifetime to rekindle the human spark in love of the night. Now you've been tucked in for eternal earth, eyes and wonder. As sailor through waves. Story now.
Ah, cool, cool. I love the image. It looks like you're seeing the Earth from the moon right now, and Earthrise is that moment when it's kind of like the moonrise, but on the moon you would see the Earth rising essentially. So I think that's really cool that they even use that in the lyrics. And that section that was almost a cappella, it just had like this sort of bed of some synthesizers, maybe a little bit of strings in there, with their three voices together. Wow, that was beautiful. And the harmonies in it weren't really simple. They weren't just always moving in parallel motion. They were complex, they were beautiful. All of the voices even sounded like they might have had a different placement, a different spatialization in the production. And so they each sounded distinct yet beautifully blended. I love, love, love what they did with that section. Okay, let's keep going.
Darling, at the eye, yours is the whole star and the heavens of myriad endings. Here I came to be. You're reaching to the far on the stellar sea, cut in little stars.
This is so the section with the harmonies that we just heard. It was quieter again, but this time you had it almost sounded like a harpsichord, but it wasn't a harpsichord. I can't figure out exactly what instrument that was. It might have even been something with like a bell. Anyhow, it sounded so elegant and classical in nature. And then they shifted the key up one half step. So they raised it one half step and immediately went into metal. And I loved that juxtaposition. It felt like very, very serene and then headbanging. It's really fun. Let's catch that and listen to it.
Little stars.
Okay, really quick. I think the visuals here are really awesome because Shoemaker was specifically known for looking at craters made by asteroids and discovering new ones, both on the moon and on Earth. So all of these asteroids and crater pictures, that's where that's coming from. I love how much homage they are giving to Shoemaker in this video. Let's catch that transition. I don't know how many voices and who they just layered. It sounded like I had at least another take that was layered on top from Floor. But I also heard it sounded like a male voice in there, and just more voices, almost like a small choir behind her. Uh, so that was really cool to hear them actually adding even more voices to sort of thicken that sound. Let's catch just a few minutes, a few bits of it. Huh, cool. This feels like a movie score right here.
And when he shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with the night and pay no worship to the garish sun.
We're gonna catch this vocally that it sounds like Flora is doing in just a moment. That quote, the Shakespeare quote, in the research I did before this video, I read that this quote specifically was placed on Shoemaker's urn. So I think that that's why they included it here. Also, it just is so suitable. I love that so much. Let's. I love. Can we talk about the way that they bring spoken text into their music? Music all put together like this, it's all sound. So why shouldn't it include spoken word more often? I think it's just really a wonderful weaving of so many different kinds of sound that Tuomas and Nightwish continually put together in music for us. It's really cool. Let's catch this little this vocals that she
Pay
does.
no worship to the garish sun.
Wow, I didn't want to stop it. That was really gorgeous. It sounded, it was like this combination of what I would say feels like that film music score and something from Mozart. And this feels, it felt a little bit almost like from the Mozart Requiem in particular to me. It feels like liturgical in nature, partly because she's singing in Latin. Laudate is always some sort of like praise, and I think Ad Astra is something about to the stars or from the stars or for the stars. I don't know my prepositions in Latin very well, but you have praise and stars in there. So that was just like a great, again, this callback to this elegance and this classical influence. Now, where Flora is singing, I think she's singing right in an area of the voice called the passaggio there. Yep, nailed it. I didn't know exactly what the pitches were, but it sounded like she was in this area that's called the passaggio. It's a transition point in female voices. Um, it's all in the head voice, but it ends up essentially needing to transition to notes that are above the staff, and it has to have some really, really delicate adjustments done in the passaggio. Often it's considered this like narrowing that's done to create a more pure sound. And then you can also give a little bit more sound at times there to create some more power. And I was listening to her thinking, oh, it sounds like she's doing really, really small passaggio adjustments as she's going through that. It's a very difficult area to negotiate in a female voice. And she's just doing a really, really beautiful job of it, all the while having really nice vowels. It's really easy for vowels right there to become obscure. And so I want you to go back with me and listen to this. Listen to areas where she's able to essentially thin out the voice, give it less weight, give it a little bit more purity, still having a really expressive vibrato, of course. And then she builds up some more power in it a little bit later. Let's go back to right here. That takes a lot of control in that area. It's really easy to just plow through it, but then it won't have the purity that it needs. And you can hear whenever she goes to da, she refocuses that sound to be just the right sound in the passaggio. Also, it was really interesting to me that sometimes they make it bigger when she goes down. I think this happens a couple different times. Right now, she went down a little bit. The sound expanded and the dynamic went more towards forte, forte being loud. And then towards the end, it also gets louder as she goes down. Flora's voice, if she was singing opera or classical music, she'd be considered a soprano. So normally sopranos are giving loud high notes. So she would probably take an up over the passaggio to a big booming note at the end. It's very rare for a soprano to have as much sound that she's able to bring down to a climactic moment. But she does that here. And I think that you can only write that for people like Flora that are able to bring that extra sound down low too. There she has more sound. That. Ooh, ooh, I didn't even catch it the first time. They have, I think it's a string at the bottom at the very end that holds everything else releases, and then it sounds like they have this one held at the end. That's something that I don't usually hear in any sort of mainstream music. You only hear that more in classical, and I love the way it's like this excitement, but underneath you have something that is immovable, that is stable, that will always remain. Ah, what a cool ending. Whoa. This song had so much happening in it. It was really dense, really fantastic. I loved hearing how Tuomas and Nightwish brought in different kinds of sounds. I loved this elegant classical. Of course, I love hearing the full orchestra in there too. And then also that more aggressive metal kind of rock sound as well was really fun to hear. And similarly, it was fun to hear Floor in different elements of her voice. Was really impressed at the beginning with the agility, and then she had some good powerful moments as well. And then at the end, it was great to hear her with some very refined opera chops going. Very good. Very, very good. And overall, I have to say, I think that this was an amazing tribute to Shoemaker. What an honor to have a song written by Nightwish for you. That's just beautiful and awesome. Thank you so much for this recommendation. Thank you, Patreons, for helping me decide between several possibilities. I really appreciate your help with that. And guys, I would love to meet you on Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. I am in the premiere chat here on YouTube. And you can also join my Discord through Patreon, where I have a live video chat with people there a couple times a week. So that'd be fun to meet you there as well. And if you want to know more about how to sing and get some like really good vocal fundamentals, you should check out my course on vocal foundations called Demystifying Singing. I hope to see you somewhere soon.